I Babel ikväll, en av de största amerikanska författarna idag, Jonathan Franzen.
This time I felt I pushed it so far that I was worried that no one would say I recognized that.
Irländaren Colm Toibin skriver om sorg och moderskap.
Yeah, I mean, I know it because I lived it. I mean, I was there in that house and I was using that experience.
Vi hälsar på oss hyllade debutanten Stina Stor i Barloliden. Och franska Marie Ndiaye om familjen som spelplats.
Si je parle presque uniquement de famille, c'est parce que j'ai toujours l'impression qu'une famille représente une sorte de mini-société.
Programledare är Jessika Gedin.
Hej och hjärtligt välkomna till Babel. Alltså det är lustigt det där när man läser 3 vitt skilda romaner. Att man ändå kan hitta kopplingar. Det kan ju säga någonting om tidsandan. Det kan också säga något om läsaren, i det här fallet mig. Så att moderskap återigen är den röda tråden i kvällens Babel. Jag vet inte om det är pinsamt eller inte. Men sant eller genant, det vet vi om en timme. Och vi börjar med en amerikansk gigant, en mästare på både åsikter och insikter. Och en författare vars vantrivsel i familjen och samtiden har skänkt oss läsare både frihet, renhet och tillrättalägganden.
Fågelskådare och författare med förmåga att väcka debatt. Så skulle man kunna beskriva den amerikanske 56-åringen, svenskättlingen Jonathan Franzen. Hans stora genombrott kom 2001 med familjeromanen Tillrättalägganden. Den fick honom i bråk med Oprah Winfrey när han dissade hennes bokklubb. 2010 kom nästa stora bok, Frihet. Återigen en berättelse om en familj. Den etablerade honom som en av USAs största samtida författare och hyllades internationellt av kritikerna. I nya boken Renhet samsas flera romanfigurer som alla bär på sin hemlighet. Bland dem finns 23-åriga Pip, som egentligen heter Purity. Hon börjar jobba för en Wikileaks-liknande organisation i förhoppningen om att hitta sin okända pappa. Berättelsen rör sig över flera generationer runt jordklotet och ut på internet. Franzen själv sägs vara skeptisk till ny teknologi och har kallat the World Wide Web för totalitärt. Men det hindrar inte att han hamnar i blåsväder på sociala medier för det.
Why do I annoy people? There's no way to answer the question without seeming to compliment myself for doing a good job.
Jonathan Franzen fortsätter att syna sin samtid och väcka debatt.
Please welcome Jonathan Franzen. Well, actually, Purity, this novel, it made me, I mean, it did all the things that a good novel should do to me. I laughed, I cried, I argued with it, I agreed with it. I had to look away because it hit too close to home, and I couldn't look away because it hit too close to home. So do you have like an exact moment, like a eureka moment, when you know what the novel is going to be, the core of the novel?
The first section of Purity is about this young woman in California, and that just wrote itself very easily. And then after a while, I wrote this the section that's set in East Germany in the 80s, and I really felt I got it. I totally got it, and I still had no idea what I was doing with the rest of the book.
So are there moments when you also feel that, you know, I can never do this?
Yeah. Somehow I don't really feel like I ever became a professional writer. It feels like each time I set out to write a novel, I feel like I've never done it before. But I look at other writers and I see them taking out their notebooks and making notes on things, and I think it goes back to this fear I had when I was young, that I wasn't taking notes. I didn't have the passion for observation that a real writer would have. So some part of me feels like it's still just a game, and I'm getting away with it.
You don't want to be like them. You want to be like you.
Yeah, well, I have no choice. So.
Well, I mean, it does contain a lot of different themes, and unfortunately, we won't have time to talk about all of them. But I would like to talk about secrets, the internet, quarreling, dogs, and motherhood.
Okay.
So what would you like to talk about? Did I miss something?
Those are important ones. Let's talk about fighting.
Let's talk about fighting.
Yeah.
Because I think actually that I love to speak with authors about death and sex and how they describe that. But I want to talk to you about quarreling because you're so good at describing this horrible, actually, dramatic structure of a quarrel. How did you find the key to that?
Well, painful experience to some extent. And, you know, I am somebody who, when he feels aggrieved, will lie awake at night thinking of the perfect prosecution of the person I'm aggrieved with. I will word it over and over again until I get it just right to really stick it to that person. And often I'll wake up in the morning and realize that I was completely insane. And that this is, so there's I know how people, I know from my own experience how you assemble a case against someone. And I also know how we assemble cases and don't ever speak them. That you just sort of like assemble the case and then put it in a drawer, waiting for that moment when everything explodes, and then I've got it here and I'm going to open it up and I'm going to start fighting. So one of the sections of the book is essentially a long narrative leading to a fight. One of the main characters is a reporter named Lila, and she has been living without being married to her boss for many years. And they have a very happy relationship because they never fight. And the more time that goes on, you know there must be something to fight about. The more the time it goes on, you know the worse it's going to be. And you become this terrified of ever having that fight. And of course, then I got to deliver it. Yeah. You know, so I don't know what else to say. I mean, a lot of experience with fights.
Yeah, because I thought that you actually found like the key. Because I'm really bad at arguing. I can't be emotional and verbal at the same time. I'm typically passive aggressive. Right. And I thought that maybe when you I saw you write it. I read it. I understood it. So I thought maybe you had like the key now.
To how to speak and feel at the same time?
To how to quarrel in a good way. Or be right, actually, which is winning an argument.
Well, no one is going to win an argument between two people who love each other. The idea is hopefully to both lose, and then you've gotten somewhere. But the larger project of the book was to try to blow the cover off things, to create situations that had so much anguish and so much energy that they would blow up and you would get beneath the everyday surface of things.
Well, let's talk about secrets. Because, okay. I mean, one of the themes in Purity is secrets, and it's the keeping of secrets and the revealing of secrets. And actually, both of these things hurt the main characters.
Yes, all of the main characters keep secrets, and it is substantially about secrets, but it's not a book where you're reading to find out the secrets, because in most cases I tell you what they are right up front, so it's not a matter, I don't want you to be turning the pages trying to figure out what the secret is. I want to know, I'm more interested in what it's like to feel tormented by having a secret.
Yeah, but it's also, I mean, you write really beautifully about secrets and friendships, that you have to have something left to share with that special person that you care about?
Secrets help us know that we have an identity, because there are things about us no one else knows. So that means that there's an interior place where no one goes. And also, but interestingly, it's by sharing secrets, your opinion of a friend or something, that you create intimacy and trust with someone else. So if you imagine a world without secrets, you're imagining a world not only without identity, but also without the possibility of true intimacy and trust.
So do you have a lot of secrets?
I have a few. I mean, they're mostly minor, but it's important to have a few secrets. And it's like they're there when I sit by myself in a room, and that's, I'm not, and in a way they keep me company. It's like there are things about me no one knows. Yeah, it's good. It's a good feeling.
You wrote that you need to enter a new novel with a personal risk. And I was wondering if that had something to do with it.
No, I don't think I expose any big secrets of my own in this book.
So what's the personal risk in Purity?
What is the personal risk in Purity? It is primarily a book about. First of all, I tried to make it a funny book.
It is.
So it's a funny book about people in mostly pretty terrible situations. There's a long portrait of a very, very disastrous marriage. And there's a long portrait of a disastrous relationship between a son and his mother. And I found, I took both of those to such extreme places that I felt people are just going to reel back in horror when I publish this book. And that felt like a risk because people had not reeled back in horror from my previous two, which themselves had risks, but they'd seemed like successfully taken risks. I thought I was exposing these shameful things, and everyone said, "Oh, we recognize that." So, but this time I felt I'd pushed it so far that I was worried that no one would say I recognize that. They would say, "You must be a terrible person."
But are you revealed or disappointed? Because, I mean, we do recognize ourselves in this, and we love it.
Well, thank you very much, Jessika. Interestingly, in order to do the book, in order to get it written, I had to reach a point I had not reached before, which is not caring, actually. I still very, very much feel a responsibility to go to dark places for people who have been in dark places so that they feel less alone with those having been there. But in terms of, it was like I had to switch off something in me to write the book, and I can't seem to switch it back on. So it's been very strange. This is my 8th week of being on tour, the end of my 8th week on a book tour, and I have not felt any anxiety at any point. I'm just like, I enjoy talking.
You're saying that like it's a bad thing.
It's a new thing. I don't care whether the book is selling. I don't care what the reviews are saying. I don't care, really. It's nice to meet readers. I love the events. I love shaking people's hands when they have a book signed. That still gives me pleasure, but there's just, once that's over, like my whole anxiety level just drops down to nothing and I'm reading a book.
Well, this might be a really strange question, but I was actually wondering about the dogs in Purity. And there's not a lot of dogs.
No, but
there are significant dogs, actually, both in flesh and in metaphor. Because whenever the dogs appear, they're like the only actual pure creatures in this novel. But what is it with you and dogs?
Well, I do like a dog. It took me a long time to get to that point. I was chased and bitten by a dog when I was little, and I was afraid of them for many years. Dogs evolved with us. There was sort of coevolution between humans and dogs, and there's a special relationship, unlike we have with any other animal, I think. The way dogs are is the way that they have grown to be because they've been around us. And I will also say that the one time I did ecstasy, it was great. And a psychiatrist I later spoke with said, "Don't take that drug. Your father died of Parkinson's. You only have 80 million cells producing dopamine. Don't mess with them." I said, "Okay, I'll never do it again," even though it was great. The overwhelming feeling I had was, now I know what it's like to be a dog. Which is, you're not bored sitting on a carpet. You just feel good. What's not to feel good about?
Thank you so much, Jonathan Franzen. Ja, då var det dags för Babels husmus, Staffan Bengtsson, att gå på visit.
Lamellhus, 50 antalet, ritad av arkitekterna Åke Ahlström och Kjell Åström. Kunde de inte varit bokhyllor i Asplunds runda stadsbibliotek? Hit flyttade vår vän in 1970 med make, 2 barn och böcker, böcker, böcker. Till våren fyller vi 85. Då har vi givit ut böcker i över 50 år, ett halvt sekel. Som en blodig röd tråd har det självbiografiska strömmat fram genom barnböcker, genom romaner och genom Astrid Lindgren. Gift med en skrivande kar, en sann publicist som det heter, en predikant nästan. Men vår vän i det K-märkta 60-talshuset hade mer att berätta med orden, och härom året kom en särskilt gripande och, får man hoppas, befriande självbiografi. Då kanske ni vet vem vi besöker.
Ja, och fortsättning följer så småningom. Men nu ska vi få vila ut hos en författare vars blick på mänskligheten är mild men aldrig grumlad.
I en småstad på irländska östkusten bor Nora Webster med sina 2 söner. 2 äldre döttrar är utflugna. Hon är 45 år och nybliven änka, och ingenting är som det brukade vara. Under 3 år följer vi familjen i slutet av 60-talet, början på 70-talet. I hemmet står tvn på, och i bakgrunden gör sig omvärlden påmind med månlandningen och oroligheter mellan katoliker och protestanter i Nordirland. Colm Toibin är en av Irlands stora samtidsförfattare, flerfaldigt prisbelönad och internationellt uppmärksammad. Nora Webster är hans 6:e bok på svenska. Han har sagt att det är den mest personliga bok han skrivit. Colm Toibin är född 1955, och när han var 12 år förlorade han sin pappa. Och likt den äldste pojken i romanen började han stamma som en reaktion. Men istället för att berätta ur barnets perspektiv följer vi mamman, Nora Webster, i en stilla tillvaro där musiken fyller det tomrum maken lämnat efter sig.
Please welcome Colm Toibin.
Sarah, how are you?
Okay, so I read your novels back to back, and going from Jonathan Franzen's action-packed around-the-world merry-go-round of a novel, and then land in this small town in Ireland, and this really, really quiet story about grief. And for a while I was wondering, was it just me, coming in with all of this speed into your novel, or do you actually abstain from drama, like a drama tease?
Yes, I mean, if Nora Webster were to, for example, meet a man, she's a widow, I would get him out of there immediately. Nothing must happen. And what I wanted to do is that notion of an imperceptible change that occurs over 3 or 4 years. after somebody dies in a family, where people recover, but they do so slowly. So this is before therapy. This is when the idea of a counselor or a psychiatrist or anything like that would not have existed in that part of Ireland. And it's also a time when maybe religion had almost come to an end, when the idea of death was intolerable. So it's that strange time in between, when this woman and her children are caught almost, where they cannot even mention his name, the name of the man who's died, the father, the husband. And so the house is filled with a sort of palpable silence, and therefore the novel has to be filled, too, with a sense in the rhythms of it, of palpable silence, of things not being mentioned, of nothing much occurring. Even if I thought it would rain, and it rains a lot in Ireland, I would have just drizzle, just mild rain. I wouldn't like much rain.
Yeah, but I mean, actually, it's such an unusual. I don't think I ever read anything like it, because it's like you have this. The grief never plays a solo. It's like it's this constant note. Going through the entire story, entire everyday life, drinking tea, grief is there. Going to work, grief is there. It's almost musical.
Yeah, I mean, I know it because I lived it. I mean, I was there in that house, and I was using that experience. But you're absolutely right that underpinning everything, and sometimes not being mentioned at all, is loss, is grief. So the ordinary day seems ordinary, except the reader knows that there's a feeling that's not being mentioned, and there's a feeling also that's not being felt. So that idea of a feeling not being felt, therefore you're in her psychology, I mean, you're in her mind, and yet she's not feeling what the reader knows she sort of is feeling, and you're working with that.
So you wrote on this novel for several years, and was there a moment when you sort of knew that it would, when it didn't fight you anymore, this idea?
Oh, it never really fought me in the sense that I would think about it every day. I don't know if you have this, where you have a really good idea at night, and in the cold light of morning, it's a rotten idea. And that's how novelists work, in a way. You get totally excited. I'm going to put something in. No, you're not putting that in. Luckily, I didn't even go to the trouble of writing it. I would just know in the morning. Never do anything at night. Ever. Anything. And, I mean, taking ecstasy is a different matter, however. But
that's a good morning thing to do.
Well, I mean, this is written from a mother's perspective, and your father died when you were 12, and there's a 12-year-old boy in this book. Why didn't you use his perspective?
There's not enough sensibility in a 12-year-old boy to sustain a novel, or a novel that I could write. And there's just simply not enough going on inside. There's too much confusion. And you could write one of those Irish short stories, I'm sure you have them here too, where, a boy comes home from school, he's sad. On the way home, he's sad, and when he gets home, he's sad. And that's the end of the short story. I could have done that, but I didn't want to. In a way, what happened in those years was I noticed her much more than she noticed me. And because, obviously, my father had gone, he died, so myself and my brother just watched her, every move she made, everything she did, because we were afraid, or everything was new. Everything was happening for the first time for us, as though, the family was being regrouped, and the two of us were there with her. And I could honestly say that I remember everything she said and did in those few years, but I was in the shadows. The only thing I did have, which Donal in the book also has, I developed a stammer, which meant I really couldn't speak much. I mean, I couldn't, my own name became a particular I still have it. And I had to work it out myself, a way of breathing and speaking in the way I do that would allow me to speak. But that was really frightening, because I couldn't in school every day. It was really scary, because you think if they're going to ask me the question, it's not, I know the answer, but I won't be able to say it. And so it was so that everything had to be rethought, and I remembered all of it. And I always thought maybe I'd write a book about it.
So if you were in the periphery in life, you put yourself in the periphery in this book as well. Are you avoiding writing this story?
No, I thought her story was more interesting. I mean, that someone who has to actually build her life again with these two strange children watching her.
Well, I think it was interesting. My father died when I was a kid, and I spent my life thinking about who I was, how I reacted, what happened, what do I remember. But, I mean, Nora Webster actually made me see my mother in an entirely different way. So did you do that as well, writing it?
I suppose I saw a shape in a way that what happens to us all as we recover from something is that the body or the mind has strategies to avoid pain and move into some space where you can live better. And that's what she did. But what I had to try and do was render that slowly, render that imperceptibly, just do it sentence by sentence, so that for a chapter it would look as though no change had occurred, but the reader would note some small thing had happened. So I was almost working, you know, point by point by point to move towards a moment. In a way, there is a moment when she comes to the very end of the book, where she's accepted into the choir and she's going to sing Brahms' German Requiem. Even though we don't see her singing it, we know that the singing of Brahms' German Requiem in a choir is going to lift her out of herself in some way that might matter.
Well, I thought it was, I mean, still being a narcissist, I also thought about myself. But the things the mother does for the children when she is doing nothing, when she's not stepping in, when she's not telling them, when she is stepping back. She just is watching them and then leaving them alone because she feels that that's what they need. I thought that was really, really beautiful.
You see, no one knew what to do. I mean, what do you do in a time when there are no manuals about it or no advice? Do you ask the kids every day, are you all right? And do you miss your father? And what's it like for you in school? Or are you... And the problem was that and it happened to Donald's, my father was a teacher. And I went into that school, which is, you know, in Ireland called a secondary school or a high school, the year, you know, just a month after he died for the first time. I was in the rooms where he had been a teacher. And I was just sitting at the back on my own, you know, silent. And nobody ever asked me, well, should you not sit beside another boy maybe? But I wouldn't. And so, you know, what happens then is that you find a way to manage. I started writing poetry. I mean, they were a bit surprised when at the age of about 15 I knew Sylvia Plath's Daddy off by heart, which I still do. And, you know, that I had found something of my own, and I found tennis, and I could just do certain things. And I worked a way of speaking then that my voice started to work again. But that took a bit longer. No, I would just do it on my own, just working, going under hard syllables to see if it was a way I could just breathe properly and speak them.
So music for your mother and poetry and tennis for you?
Yeah, the Archduke Trio for her and Sylvia Plath for me, yeah.
Well, Jonathan actually made a list of the questions he hates getting in interviews.
Maybe you'd like to ask Colm one of those.
No, but you, one of the questions was, are your novels autobiographical? And I was wondering, because since this was, well, sort of the question I just posed to you, do you hate it as well?
Well, my previous novel is called The Testament of Mary, and it's about Mary, the mother of Jesus. So no one thought of asking me that. You know, was the crucifixion as described autobiographical? Had it occurred? I mean, to me. And I was lucky because I might have had an answer to that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, with this book, I had to make a decision when it came out what I was going to do about that, because the material is so clearly autobiographical, even though I've changed things. And no matter what you do, it's not as though you're describing a real life. You are actually constructing something. You are creating sort of structures in the book that are fictional, no matter what you do. But I decided early on when the book came out that I would just come clean, as it were, rather than trying to say, oh, no, it's a version of me, but not really. Well, some of it happened down to the smallest detail. And there's no point really in saying it didn't.
No, and I mean, reading it, it happens to you. It's my book. It's my childhood. It's my Nora now. But you actually have a really good answer to why you hate this question.
Yeah, well, Yes, I know there is a presumption of, well, you must have almost used up what you have to say then, since you're just telling lies, dressing up things that happened to you. So there's a kind of buried hostility in the question. Oh, is this autobiographical?
Is this just autobiographical?
Is this just autobiographical?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when in fact I think that when you invent, when you are Jesus on the cross, you may be putting more genuinely autobiographical content into the book than if you were to simply tell the boring things that had happened to you in your life.
Oddly enough, that's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a connection between invention and genuinely autobiographical content, as Kafka would show us.
Well, mothers have a strange way of, turning up in our show. We talk about mothers constantly. I mean, mothers are everywhere in literature. What do you think that is? I mean, why are they such a good subject for novels?
Well, it's an interesting one, that you have an elemental relationship if you're a son with a mother, and then you have to become an adult and have a different relationship. And if along the way that gets gnarled or that gets in any way messed with, where you're still her boy and you're oddly enough trying to struggle against her to become an adult, or just some other difficulty, that's an immensely dramatic subject. It's extremely interesting because there is a great sort of density and complexity to it. You can never be sure in what moment you're being treated like a boy, a baby, her favorite son, the son, and then, or like an adult for 1 second. I mean, my mother and myself could discuss literature. I mean, she really didn't like my books, so she would always say to me as a way, I think Saul Bellow is a marvellous writer, so smart, so snappy, I mean, and then she would look at me and I would know that she wasn't going to say the next thing, which was, why don't your novels have more of that, of, the Saul Bellowness? And, but at another moment, if anybody, for example, a guy in one of the local papers said something mean about me, well, she went ballistic. And I said, no, it's fine. That's his duty. He must do that. And she said, well, I didn't, And so you're these mixtures of things.
But, I mean, you have 3, at best, annoying mothers in purity and, at worst, really horrible. How come?
Well, the person with the terrible mother really struggles all his life just for his basic sanity. And then I think it's so easy, well, as Andreas himself, he is the one with the troublesome mother, he himself says it's so easy to blame the mother. And the other 2 moms in the course of the book are very much blamed by their children, but I hope it's ultimately clear that maybe they shouldn't be. That maybe they did the right things right.
They are maybe not good mothers, but they are really good portraits of mothers.
You are entitled to your own opinion.
Well, actually, I think that Nora Webster stays with you. She sort of gets under your skin. So is it the same way with you, or did you finally let her go after all of these years?
I brought my mother to a literary party, which was really a mistake, and she didn't quite know what to do. All these people were drinking and talking, and she kept watching them. And eventually, one of them came over, and I introduced her to my mother, and she said, "Oh, wonderful to meet you. But, of course, we all feel we know you." And my mother suddenly looked blank and frightened. "What do you mean?" She said, "Oh, well, from the books." And then she suddenly said, "It was wonderful. I'm not in any of his books." And I thought that was sort of marvellous piece of denial, beautiful. And it was the story of my childhood in a way, the thing not being said that everybody knows to be true. And I got enormous energy out of that as a writer. As a citizen, as a human being, I'm not so sure, but what W.H. Auden said, what you need to be a writer is as much neurosis as the child can take. And I think I got some of that.
Thank you so much, Colm Toibin.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nu ska vi byta tempo igen. Det blir nämligen ett norrländskt adagio när Babel åker till Västerbotten för att träffa årets mest hyllade debutant, Stina Stor.
Jag var till frisören i Vännäs. Och då försökte jag småprata. Hon frågade, vad jobbar du med? Och jag svarade liksom att jag har skrivit en bok. Och nu så ska jag försöka vara lite fin i håret för jag ska ut och prata om min bok och så där. Och så frågade hon, en deckare, vad roligt! Och jag, nej, det är inte en deckare, tyvärr. Det är en novellsamling. Och så frågade hon, vad är det då? Jo, men det är berättelser. Det är liksom 9 olika historier som utspelar sig i trakterna kring Bjurholm där jag har växt upp. Alltså min hemby Babel-studion och så lite upp mot Örträsk och ner mot Nordmaling. Så där. Och då så la hon ner saxen. Så gick hon runt till andra sidan om frisörstolen. Och så tittade hon på mig och så sa hon, men har du aldrig fått se något annat du då? Hon kunde liksom inte föreställa sig att jag skulle vilja skriva om något så tragiskt och intetsägande som min hembygd. Om jag hade fått se något annat.
Stina Stors noveller har barnets perspektiv. Där finns en trasslig farsa, storkusiner, grannar och en natur full av magiska ting.
Jo, men såna här ställen älskade jag. De har ju sin magi för att det finns ju inte ens en väg här. Det går inte ens en väg nära nu. Det är liksom, hur 17 får man hit en bil ens?
I Babel-studion utanför Bjurholm i Västerbotten är Stina Stor född och uppvuxen. Här har hennes släkt bott i generationer.
Här simmade man. Här tvättade farmor mattor fast det är uppe i strömmen. Här brukar det vara blå trollsländor som flyger omkring. Har ju sin lilla magi också eftersom vattnet faktiskt rinner runt. Det rinner ner och så rinner det upp på den här sidan. Så man kan, det är liksom en innesluten värld.
I vedspisen vid rönnen har hon sitt kassaskåp. Där finns vit kvarts och rosa kvarts. Glimmer glaskulor med en smal börja av färg genom sig. Och mer. Det som är värt att spara. Som pinfina Märits bärnstensarmband. Och farmors gulvita löständer med sina halvgenomskinliga gommar.
Skriva har hon alltid gjort. Men att Stina Stor skulle bli författare var långt ifrån självklart.
Jag mådde under stora delar av min tonårstid och tidig vuxendom så pass illa att det fanns liksom ingen chans för mig att fullfölja en 9 sidor lång novell. Jag kunde få till en bra sida. Kanske. Men det var sällan jag hade 9 bra dagar i rad. Där jag kunde bara, om man säger så, ta mig till skolan i 9 dagar. Så att dessutom lyckas skriva någonting där man har så mycket eget ansvar och ska sköta det.
Ja, men liksom att ha en tillvaro där det är skillnad på nätter och dagar och där det finns mattider. Jag vet inte, det låter skitfånigt men jag tror att det hade hjälpt. Liksom. Istället så stack jag. Jag var ju borta ganska mycket under slutet av grundskolan. Och jag vet nästan inga andra människor som har underkänt i bild och i hemslöjd.
Några kringflackande år följer på annan ort och utomlands. Vid 25 års ålder är Stina Stor sjukpensionär och uträknad.
Jag skrev ju dagboksanteckningar och saker men jag tror man ska göra skillnaden då på den slags skrivande som är att kräka tarmarna ur sig och ett skrivande som är höjt över det.
Vändningen kom när hon flyttade tillbaka till barndomsbyn och bildade familj.
Att komma hem var ju en förlåtelseprocess. Att stå här och titta på en hängbjörk eller någonting och tänka
Du är okej som du är. Du behöver inte vara en palm. Du är fin. Och när jag fick barnen så behövde de mig. Och de behövde ju en mamma som skulle vara bra. En människa som skulle kunna vara bra på någonting. Inte någon som ville krypa ner under första bästa sten och gömma sig.
Den första texten Stina Stor lyckades skriva klart vann Umeå Nobelpris 2012. Hon fick beställning på 2 nya och för den ena fick hon Sveriges Radios Nobelpris och ett stort förlag hörde av sig. Novellsamlingen Bli som folk har hyllats för sin berättarkonst och säregna språk.
Dels så finns det ju en hel del av pappas dialekter. Han pratade ju en bjurholmsbonska som man inte pratar längre, där spindel heter kangeroo och mjölkörten heter almysche. Men jag tror att för de läsare som kan dialekten bättre så märker de ju tydligare också vilka friheter jag tar mig, där jag faktiskt gör egna ord som är lite inspirerade av dialekten. Och att omfamna alla de här bråkiga orden som vill vara med och som jag hör och som kommer utan att värdera dem lägre för att de inte så att säga finns på riktigt. Någon gång måste jag skriva någonting om de där åren och alla frågar om. Men än så länge får det vara så där oskrivet och osagt. Jag menar, alla måste inte veta allting. Jag var borta, nu är jag tillbaka. Däremellan kan de som vill kan få föreställa sig att jag var hula-hula-dansös. Så liksom, låt det vara så.
Stina Stor är August-nominerad för sin novellsamling Bli som folk. Och i slutet av november så får vi veta hur det går. Så grattis Stina Stor och lycka till. Men nu ska vi träffa en kvinna som skriver bildrikt och mardrömslikt om mödrar, hundar och metamorfoser.
Malinka bor i Paris med sin mamma, städerskan La Divine. Malinka skäms över sitt ursprung, byter namn till Clarisse, flyr till Bordeaux. Clarisse besöker ändå motvilligt moderns bisarrt pyntade källarkyffe en gång i månaden.
Hon fick en känsla av att sjunka ner i en brunn av kladdiga känslor, passiv ömhet och neslig förbittring. Och på kanten stod modern och såg på. Oberörd, högdragen och ren i sin oföränderliga kärlek.
Psykiska tillstånd av skam och skuld tar våldsam yttre form i Marie Ndiayes romaner. Stämningen liknas ibland vid David Lynchs filmer. Det handlar om maktkampen i nära relationer och en frigörelse så svår att den enda utvägen är drastisk flykt genom en närmast djurisk förvandling. Marie Ndiaye fick Goncourtpriset 2009 för romanen 3 starka kvinnor. Kontroversiellt då hon kallat den dåvarande franska regeringens politik för monstruös.
Bienvenue à Marie Ndiaye. Bonsoir. Vous avez critiqué la France sous Sarkozy et après on vous a menacé. Vous avez toujours été aussi franche et courageuse.
Ce n'était pas du courage du tout, je crois. J'ai simplement exprimer ce que je pensais à ce moment-là, mais que beaucoup de gens en France aussi pensaient ou ressentaient. C'était pas du tout courageux parce que le courage implique qu'on prenne un risque et il y a après des réactions désagréables, mais il n'y a pas de menace au sens grave du terme. Mais ça m'a semblé important à ce moment-là de dire ça, mais je dirais vraiment pas que c'était du courage, non.
Et alors, avec le roman La Divine, quelle histoire est-ce que vous avez voulu raconter?
J'ai voulu raconter l'histoire de 3 femmes sur 3 générations, une grand-mère, une mère et une fille. Et raconter surtout comment une sorte de mensonge, de secret initial entraîne des mensonges de génération en génération et comment finalement, sans même savoir à quoi c'est dû, la fille, la 3e de la génération, n'arrive pas à vivre une vie équilibrée. Il lui manque quelque chose dont elle ne sait rien. Elle devine seulement que ça remonte bien plus loin que sa naissance. Et c'est ce qui empêche finalement ces 3 femmes de vivre une vie à peu près satisfaisante, une sorte de faute initiale.
Oui. On a discuté maternité ici. Qu'est-ce que vous pensez de ça? Parce que c'est un roman qui parle de ça.
Oui. C'est une vision problématique de la maternité dans ce livre, mais c'est une vision aussi qui relève du conte, c'est-à-dire ce que je raconte n'est pas strictement réaliste et c'est pour ça que ce n'est pas une vision de la maternité, c'est plutôt une féerie dramatique autour de la maternité. Mais ce n'est pas un message sur ce sujet, c'est même pas un sujet, c'est pas une thèse.
Le sujet principal, c'est l'identité et la difficulté de se libérer de son histoire. Pourquoi est-ce que vous voulez écrire de ça?
Parce que d'un point de vue romanesque, c'est quelque chose, l'identité, comme vous dites, ou la difficulté de se libérer de son histoire qui offre des possibilités infinies, comme la famille, finalement. Si je parle presque uniquement de famille, c'est parce que j'ai toujours l'impression qu'une famille représente une sorte de mini-société à elle seule, et qu'en décrivant ce qui se passe dans une famille, on peut décrire ce qui se passe dans une société. On y retrouve dans la famille finalement tous les sentiments qui circulent entre les êtres humains, l'amour, mais aussi la détestation, la rancune, mais aussi la générosité, enfin vraiment tout.
Oui. Et vous alors, vous avez fait votre début littéraire très tôt, quand vous avez 18 ans. Et qu'est-ce que ça fait avec vous, avec votre identité?
Depuis l'âge de 18 ans, en effet, quand mon premier livre a été publié, je peux avoir la sensation que je suis écrivain. Mais finalement, cette sensation, je l'avais dès l'enfance, dès l'âge de 8 ou 10 ans.
C'est normal.
Je me sentais déjà écrivain. Donc, finalement, toute ma vie d'adulte a été la prolongation de ce désir, mais de cette certitude que j'avais d'être écrivain.
Alors, l'identité d'écrivain, est-ce que c'est très important alors?
C'est vraiment moi. J'ai l'impression depuis l'enfance d'être écrivain, comme je m'appelle Marie, comme je suis de langue française. C'est une identité qui n'est pas distincte de ce que je suis profondément. C'est une évidence.
L'atmosphère du livre, c'est un mélange de réalité, surréalisme et cauchemar. Alors, dans quel état voulez-vous mettre vos lecteurs?
J'aime bien que le lecteur se sente dans une situation inconfortable, qu'il ne soit pas absolument à l'aise, qu'il le soit assez pour avoir envie d'aller au bout du livre, puisque le but n'est pas évidemment de le rebuter, mais qu'il se sente en déséquilibre. Oui, j'aime bien ça.
Ouais. Est-ce que le surréalisme est un moyen plus vrai de décrire la vérité?
D'une manière générale, je ne pense pas, mais en ce qui me concerne, ça m'est plus facile, plus naturel d'essayer de passer en tout cas de situations absolument triviales, absolument réalistes, à des situations qui ne le sont pas, qui relèvent de la féerie, mais sans que le lecteur ait vraiment l'impression qu'il passe d'un état à un autre et que le lecteur puisse se demander finalement si le côté féerique n'est pas tout à fait aussi réel que le côté strictement réaliste, qui est un glissement progressif vers le surréalisme, mais sans qu'on en prenne vraiment conscience.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Marie Ndiaye. Nu tar vi en sväng förbi kvällens författarhem.
Det är hemma hos Margareta Strömstedt vi befinner oss, i Tantolunden, den gröna lungan på Södermalm. Här gäller inga kontorstider. Här kommer orden när de vill, dygnet runt.
Ja, det mesta jag har skrivit har jag nog börjat skriva på i sängen på morgonen, 4-5. Och det händer ju att jag har hela min dagspensum väldigt tidigt på morgonen. Och då kan man, om det är en sån här lyckodag, kan man ju hålla på i 4-5 timmar. När jag började skriva på allvar hade jag ju småbarn. Och då var jag ju tvungen att hålla fast en idé och en tanke. Jag ville ju inte tända lyset. Vi hade ju inte så stor lägenhet och barnen sov bredvid mig ofta. Det är ju inte färdigtänkt, det är inte färdiggestaltat när man får idén, utan det måste ju... Ibland får man vänta till framåt dagen och så går man en promenad. Och om jag ser en bekant på avstånd så går jag en omväg för att det är lätt om man börjar diskutera och prata så tappar man bort den där idén som man just har kommit in i.
Hela familjen Strömstedt är kreatörer. Dotter Lotten som är bildmakare, Niklas som skriver popdänger alla älskar. Och så Bo Strömstedt, den gamla chefredaktören som inte drog sig för att ha synpunkter på hustruns skrivande.
Det kan också vara väldigt, väldigt hämmande att man är rädd att visa och bli nedslagen. Därför att jag tror inte att någon är så kritisk som den man lever ihop med. Det var nog några böcker som gick åt pipan där. Och med tiden utvecklades vårt förhållande så att jag lärde mig att han ska inte komma in för tidigt. Och överhuvudtaget är det något av det farligaste man kan göra som författare, det är att visa. Vem som helst, alltså man får inte visa för tidigt, för då har man inte möjligheten att skapa om och göra om. Man sätter på något sätt, man slår in det i folie om man visar för tidigt. Och sen kommer man inte åt det.
Ja, så säger alltså Margareta Strömstedt i Tantolunden, Stockholm.
Tack Staffan Bengtsson, tack Margareta Strömstedt. Nästa vecka blir det förstås ett nytt hembesök. Men nu ska vi ingjuta tröst och mod i barnasinnet. Och det gör man förstås bäst med en bok.
That boy needs therapy. Psychosomatic. That boy needs therapy.
Hej Babel! Min son på 8 år har väldigt låg självkänsla. Han bryr sig alldeles för mycket om vad hans kompisar och andra människor tycker om saker och om honom. Jag skulle vilja se honom starkare och våga gå sin egen väg. Finns det några böcker vi kan läsa som handlar om detta? Jonathan.
Well,
what book do you want to recommend?
Yes, I would recommend that the questioner read Elena Ferrante just to distract herself from the difficult problem with her son. I really don't think. I don't think this is a situation where a single book is going to help. So my recommendation would be to read to your son, to get him interested in books so that he has some sense of himself that exists only by himself. If he becomes a reader, it's not going to matter so much what other people think of him because he will have some other place to go to and some other community to belong to.
True. Thank you. Colm, what would you like to recommend?
Well, I would bribe him. On Saturday he could have more money and he could have more computer time and he could watch a DVD for adults if he promised once a week or twice a week, instead of reading, just don't bother reading. I mean, reading is for other people. You write whatever it is that's wrong with you down and make a story out of it. Make yourself into a dog or make yourself into a girl or make yourself into who you are. Write it down and read yourself every week. So he should read himself. And he should add to it every week. So 52 weeks then at the end of the year, give him something enormous, like a big, computer of his own or a holiday, whatever he wants, saying you've written your own story and now we'll read your story. But I think writing might help him, in fact, much more than reading. And it'd be great to join him in saying, look, reading, that's for other kids. You're special. You are the one that's going to write.
Marie Ndiaye, quel livre avez-vous choisi?
J'ai choisi David Copperfield de Dickens parce que je pense que ça peut être intéressant pour un petit garçon qui manque de confiance en lui de lire l'histoire d'un enfant de son âge terriblement maltraité, humilié, mais qui s'en sort parce qu'il trouve en lui des ressources de courage et d'astuce et de gaieté qui l'aide à devenir un adulte prospère et heureux. Je pense que ça peut être intéressant.
Oui. Merci beaucoup. Merci à tous. Thank you very much. Det var allt vi hade för idag. Nästa vecka så träffar vi Susan Abulhawa, Fanna Ndao Norby och Karin Johannisson. Så vi ses igen på söndag. Hej då!